And welcome to the block. I am your host, Kyle Johnston. It's for the late night addicts, the early morning coffee drinkers. You can find my work on Twitter at KJ_the block. Find my work on my blog site, KyleJohnstonTheBlock.wordpress.com. Now it's been a little while, been on a little bit of hiatus. I know it's been like that for a little while. Hey, I can only be in one spot, man. I always say, man, I need that little magic hammock of Homer Simpson. When he gets all those clones to do all his chores and then the clones go evil. One of those Halloween episodes. I need that Homer Simpson hammock, man. Then I can just make a couple clones of me and I can get everything done that I want to do. Sometimes I just can't say no when I want to help people out and shit like that, too. Half my fucking problem. But anyways, we're right in the middle of the Euros. We're actually coming down to the close of the group stage. So I'm going to talk a little Euros. It is the week of Toronto. The spotlight's on the city of Toronto this week. We got the drafts coming up, the NBA draft and the NHL draft. Toronto Maple Leafs are already making a splash this week in the NHL world, picking up Frederik Andersen, and I'll get to that in a little bit. And I'll also talk a little bit of NBA draft. So we got the NBA draft, got the NHL draft, and we got the Euros to break down here. I got a little bit of sports picks. We'll see if we can fly through this here in about 45 minutes. Obviously, my sports picks will come near the end. But why not start with the Euros and why not start with the Three Lions? If anybody's watched this show, you know I'm a big England supporter. And watching the game last night was, well, it was very atypical England. It went exactly how I thought it would go. I personally thought we'd win 1-0. I was fucking pissed. Fucking fuming, furious, screaming and yelling. Couldn't sit down the whole match. I don't like to sit down during games. I usually stand up and I pace back and forth. It actually depends on what the sport is. Hockey, I can sit down. Hockey, I can sit down and enjoy it and watch it. Soccer, it depends who's playing. If it's my team, if it's United, if it's England, no. There's no way I'm going to be able to sit down and watch the game. I'm usually standing up, watching the game, pacing back and forth, screaming and yelling at Roy Hodgson. England didn't even have to kick the ball, and I was already screaming and yelling at Roy Hodgson for his selection. Like, what the hell are you doing with your team selection, Roy? You're in a game, you have to win. You have to win. For multiple reasons. 2 is that you want to win the group and play an easier opponent in the round of 16, because you all play a round of 16 now. So why not? Why the fuck not go out and play a team like Albania or maybe Northern Ireland? Come on. And the second thing, B, by winning our group, it avoids us going into the other side of the bracket. With Germany, with Spain, with Italy. We don't want that shit, man. You think we can beat Germany, Spain, and Italy? Nah, not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. What the fuck was Jack Wilshere doing starting in the midfield? I'm sitting there and I'm fucking watching the game. I'm watching the match, and the commentator's like, yeah, Jack Wilshere looks a little rusty out there. I'm like, yeah, exactly. He's played like fucking 5 games all year? He started 2 games all year because of injury? Like, come on, man. What are you doing, Roy? And I'm a Jack Wilshere fan, man. I got his fucking name on the back of one of my England jerseys. He's one guy that can come from Arsenal and play for United, and I'd have no problem with it. But Jack Wilshere, dude, you shouldn't be on the pitch, man. Not even as a substitute. You haven't played, dude. You haven't played. I'd rather have Danny Drinkwater out there in the midfield than Jack Wilshere. And like that, and like talk about Danny Drinkwater. How does this guy not have his own like spring water like company? Danny Drinkwater Incorporated. Danny Drinkwater Springs Incorporated. Drinkwater Springs Incorporated. That's what I'd call it. Like fuck, man. So Roy Hodgson, dude, you got a lot of problems. I like seeing that Klein. Klein was one of the few substitutions that kind of worked out well. He was very he showed a lot down that right side. Showed a lot down the right side in the fullback position. Showed a lot of pace. Showed a lot of attacking awareness. We needed that. So basically where most of our offense came from, to be honest with you. Now, we had our chances. We had, 24 attempts on goal. Yeah, I know many were blocked. Many missed the goal. Few were on target, put it that way. But the Slovakian goalkeeper did play a pretty good game. He was definitely Slovakia's man of the match. Sturridge had his opportunities. Vardy had his opportunities. Vardy really faded in the second half. That's when I wouldn't have. That's when we need that creative midfielder that can come off the bench, push Wayne Rooney up forward if our strikers aren't panning out. I didn't mind bringing on Harry Kane near the end. But Harry Kane, he looks tired. Harry Kane looks real tired. And I can't quite figure out this international game, to be honest with you right now. He's had some really good performances for England. Nothing with this kind of pressure, obviously. But he looks tired. Looks like he's had a long year. Same with Jamie Vardy, as he faded in the second half. But as long as we're creating opportunities, England, we still have an opportunity. But England's not going to win this shit. There's no way England's going to win. Sitting at plus 1050 or something like that right now. Right around 10-1. Plus 1050, I think they are. You can get the Azuri at plus 1100. And I'd take the Azuri to go further than England any day. Gotta excuse me here. Rooney's had no right tournament. The England supporters were a little quieter than usual. Maybe it was just the stadium. Maybe it was the sound. But the England supporters were a lot quieter than usual. Even they could feel it. They knew it was going to happen. They knew it was going to be a fucking sweat job the whole time. They knew. Now, as we stand here right now, Wales is fucking partying. This is a complete embarrassment to the English FA to watch Wales finish ahead of England at the Euros. Even though we did win. We won the battle. England won the battle. But yet, we lost the war. Typical. Very typical. And I gotta say one thing, Mel. When I'm sitting there watching the Euros, obviously we got 24 teams in there now, so got some smaller nations. So, I watch Northern Ireland. I know the players. I watch a lot of, British Premier League, or the Championship, or Scottish. But I'm sitting there watching Northern Ireland, and I'm watching the national anthems play, and God Save the Queen comes on. Man, I tell you what, man, there's some people sitting in that British Parliament that just sit there with utter joy, hearing another nation play their national anthem, saying the British Empire still lives. The British Empire still lives. We got Northern Ireland still. But anyways, the Welsh. Wales is partying right now. They're on a roll. A lot of people are hopping on the Wales bandwagon. A lot of people are looking at them as the little darling. The Cinderella story. Yeah, and it's a good run for them. I was on Wales way before this tournament started. I was sitting there down at the studios. And people are talking about Slovakia, this Croatian soccer fan and stuff. I'm like, no. I'm like, Wales is going to get through. Now, I didn't think Wales was going to finish ahead of England. Now, I didn't bet on England to win their group either. Fuck that shit. That's playing with fire. But I was all on Wales way before this tournament started. I knew they'd have a half-decent tournament. How Gareth Bale goes is how Wales goes. Gareth Bale's playing pretty well. Aaron Ramsey, very good support player. They're playing him well. Chris Coleman's got the proper starting 11 going. And as you see, Chris Coleman didn't make all these crazy lineup changes in a match that they had to win. So good on the Welsh, but teams will figure this team out. Teams will figure this team out. They're very one-dimensional. They're playing good defense right now, but the defense is suspect. The midfield's not the strongest midfield. They can get bossed around. And if you can isolate Gareth Bale and slow him down and control the middle of the field so you don't get stretched out and overexposed, then you have a very good shot of beating Wales. Can Wales get through the round of 16? It depends on who they play. Right now I'm hearing maybe Albania. See England? See England? Albania in the next round would be kind of nice. Even though Albania will give Wales a go. Oh, Albania, you know, like, as much of a high Wales is on, Albania is on just as much of a high. That's the problem for Wales. You want to come in a team that's, you know, kind of struggled their way. You want to face, like, maybe a Northern Ireland that might get smoked by Germany later. Which I'll get to that. But anyways, it's been a good tournament. All the violence, people were talking about that early on. That's going to happen. Especially when you get these geopolitical matches going on. People want to make a stance. You know, a lot of these, you know, some of these hooligans, some of these fucking assholes basically and shit. Some of them are paid off to be there to cause shit by fucking political groups. Smaller political groups pay people to go down. Cause some shit in the fucking first few days because all the camera crews will be there watching. That's fucking basically half of it. Good on the English fans for sticking up for yourselves. Even though you guys fucking bring half of it upon yourselves. Let's be fucking real here. I've been reading a lot about the Irish fans, and the Irish fans do what the Irish fans do best and fucking make it one of the best tournaments in the world. I've been watching them sing lullabies to fucking kids on trains, serenading people on balconies, singing songs to fucking girls. It's been exactly what I experienced, it looks like, down in Poland, man. I had the best time of my life with the fucking Irish, man. I partied fucking harder than I've ever partied and never felt safer and never had so much fun. Crowd surfing girls up to dance. We were dancing on statues, dancing with the cops. We were on the Polish version of CNN and shit like that every fucking morning when I was there for about 4 days in Poznan. Talking about all the old Irish stories, the songs, the chants, everywhere you go, man. Like, it's you never know what's gonna happen. And the more the unusual the setting, the more real it is with the Irish. That's basically the gist of it. They're just fucking real, man. And fucking they drink a lot, man. Holy fuck, they drink a lot. Playing Kings with the fucking Irish. Like, I played Kings down here. Me and my friends, you know, we can tie one on pretty good, put it that way. But playing Kings with the Irish, it's either chug your beer, or fucking take a shot. On any fucking rule, or any time you have to fucking take a drink. That's basically those three options. Go for it. Good luck. Many times I tapped out, but many times I had a lot of fun. Many times I saw the fucking Irish get cut off. But, it's good on you. The Germans play today, but I'll get to them in a bit. France. Yeah, I was all over the France-Switzerland draw. Worked well for both teams. One of those situations. You gotta look for those, for all you handicappers out there. It happens all the time in these international soccer tournaments, man. If you can make both sides happy with somewhat of a draw, the teams will take the draw after like 60 minutes of football. They'll give it, for about 50, 60 minutes. They'll try. They'll see what they can do, especially the first half. They'll see if they can break the other team down or whatever. Obviously the manager will go in and try to make some changes. Some tactical changes at halftime. You might see 10 minutes of the teams giving it. But about the 60-minute mark, if the score is level, it's probably going to end level. If it can make both teams happy, which is a situation today with Spain and Croatia. So, not too shocked about it. France is in a good situation. They have a good team. They're starting to figure it out. Laurent Blanc. He just got fired from PSG. Didier Deschamps got the, I think he's got the idea of what he wants his rotation to be. He knows what his starting 11 is going to be. He just had to put pull the reins back on a couple of young lads. It's for the best, for them to learn, for them to experience, to grow up. You know, even Paul Pogba still got a lot of room in his boots to grow. Watching Dimitri Payet, though, has been a fucking, holy shit, man. It's been Cirque du Soleil. Cirque du Soleil should be calling Dimitri Payet up because the guy's just performing fucking magic out there, man. That fucking that full volley he took, it hit the crossbar, man. That was beautiful, man. It didn't go in, but god damn, man, that was a fucking beautiful set of skill. Showed a beautiful set of skill there. West Ham fans should be fucking praying to whatever God, whatever fucking being or whatever fucking higher power they believe in, that this guy fucking stays at fucking West Ham, at the new Olympic Stadium for next season, man. At least for one more year. Because he's a hot topic right now. And you're going to see a lot of big teams, a lot of big clubs flashing some cash at him. PSG is going to be one of them. PSG will be one of them. Looking to flash the cash. You know, they've been linked with Oscar. They've been linked with Hazard from Chelsea. And they had to fend that off. And I wouldn't be shocked if they come sniffing around West Ham. And West Ham right now is struggling to even sign players. You know, they got a little bit bigger ambitions. You know, they're looking at Lacazette. They're looking at Carlos Bacas of the world. And right now it's not turning out too well for West Ham. They're starting to experience what it's like to step into the next level when you want to play with some of the big boys. But Switzerland, they are what they are. They're lethargic. They're slow. They're not going to do any damage in the knockout phases. And good on fucking Albania, man. Fucking good on Albania. I was all over Romania. I was wrong. It's been a tough tournament to kind of break down, you know, with the 24 teams and shit like that. Teams battling for that third place spot. I definitely thought Romania would bring it because of that. You know, all they needed was a win to set them on 4 points. Basically guaranteed to get through. But now we sit here in Albania. So good on them. I partied with an Albanian down in Cuba once, and that was a fucking good time, man. He was a jack of all trades, this guy. He was a jack of all trades. He had everything in his fucking room, put it that way, man. That was a good time. I ended up in there with fucking like 10 strangers. But anyways, that's a story for another day. So might as well segue into today's matches, and actually I'll get to, you know, I'll save my baseball picks for the end, and I'll get to my my Euro picks right now. We'll segue right into today's matches. We're talking about the Euros anyways. Might as well get it out of the way. We'll finish it up with some NBA and NHL draft talk and some MLB sports picks for you. So today, we got 4 matches. Kick off at 12. The first 2 games. Just pull everything up here for you. So kicking off at 12 noon Eastern Time, we got Northern Ireland sitting on 3 points. They're taking on Germany. Germany's looking to take all 3 points, pump a lot of goals on the board, and take a stranglehold on this group, because if they don't, Poland is sitting there waiting in the weeds. They're both sitting at 4 points. I think both teams are going to win. So it's going to come down to goal differential, seeing that both teams drew each other 0-0. So I think Northern Ireland might be in some trouble. Now that being said, Northern Ireland's got a lot to fucking play for. Now they got Northern Ireland sitting at plus 1,200 to win. Like, they're not going to win, Northern Ireland. They got them at plus 400 to draw. Now, I don't think they can draw. But I think it's going to be a little closer than people think. Germany's sitting at minus 300 to win. The over-under in this game is 2.5 goals like usual. We're seeing a lot of movement on the total. I went to bed last night and we were seeing some movement on the over. The under got as low as about, minus 120, 125. Now we're looking at the under at minus 150 and the over's at plus 115. And I kind of agree with that movement. I like the under. I think Germany's going to win 2-0. And that may just give Ireland enough to sneak in. Like, Albania's sitting at minus 2. -2 goal differential. I'm assuming. I haven't went and looked. I should go do that. But as I know, I know the first tiebreakers head-to-head for the group stages, about who would, say two teams are tied at 4 points, second and third or whatever, but, or being they can't use that one because they fucking drew for fucking example and shit like that. I guess we can go down to fucking, the fucking last group there or whatever. The Hungary, Poland, fucking Austria, Iceland fucking shit. Hungary beat fucking Austria. So, they could so if Austria and Hungary are level on points, at 4 points, Austria will take that number 2 spot because they fucking beat them. So the first tiebreaker's head-to-head. I'm pretty sure the second tiebreaker will be goal difference. So goals will be very important today. But I think Northern Ireland holds strong. I think they're going to be, they're not going to score. But I think they can hold Germany to 1 goal going into halftime, and that'll give them a lot of confidence in the second half. I think Germany edges out another goal. They're not quite scoring like they would want to, the Germans. Thomas Mueller's been quiet. Götze, they're trying to use him in a false 9 role. Probably not going to work. Mario Gomez is old. So they're lacking that prolific striker, Germany. But that being said, if the things start to click, they're going to have a lot of possession of the ball, man. It only takes a couple goals. And Germany are one of the best set-piece teams in the tournament as well, so they can score from that position. So, basically what I did in this game is I took Germany at -1.5 goals. So they got to win by 2. So I think Germany can win by 2. If they get 3, well, everybody, that's got the over will be happy. If they only win by 2, then I do think, the under will cash. I think Germany's going to win 2-0 here, and that's about it. Maybe they squeak out a 1-0 victory, but I think 2-0 sounds about right. So that's why I went and took Germany at -1.5 goals. The other game going on at 12 noon. We got Ukraine, who are already eliminated, taking on Poland. I thought the Ukrainians would show up, put a little bit a better showing in this tournament. A little national pride and all that shit that's going down in Ukraine, Crimea, Russia. But Ukraine had an awful tournament. Awful tournament. That Ukraine-Northern Ireland match was one of the worst matches I've ever watched in my entire life. Even though Northern Ireland won 2-0 somehow. I did think Ukraine had the possibility of nicking second place over Poland in this group. Well, that didn't turn out. Poland showed up. A lot of people like Poland in this tournament. They have a very solid midfield. Obviously, they have Lewandowski up front. So, Poland right now sits at -118 to win this game. Seeing a little bit of movement on them overnight. Plus 240 to draw. And Ukraine's at plus 425 to win this. I like Poland at -118. In fact, I got Poland at -105 last night. The over-under in this game, -200 to the under, plus 150 to the over. I like the over. See, I'm going to use a little reverse, what's the word? What am I looking for here? My mind just went blank there. Anyways, don't worry about that. That's what happens to me when I'm doing this stuff early in the morning and I'm doing all this stuff. Just going to use a little bit of reverse mentality here, a little reverse thinking. And a lot of people would be thinking that Germany is going to pump a lot of goals on Northern Ireland, so the over would be in play, etc., etc. Leaning to the under, and I like Germany to win 2-0. A lot of people probably think Poland, Ukraine's got not a whole lot to play for. They're not going to show up. Poland, they don't score too many goals. A lot of people like the under. Well, I'm leaning to the over in this game. Haven't clicked on it. Haven't clicked on any of those totals, but I'm leaning to the over in this game. But I have clicked on Poland. Poland will win. Poland will push Germany in this group. And Poland will be doing a lot of scoreboard watching. Hoping that Northern Ireland can hold on. And that brings us to the afternoon games. Or the night games over in Europe, wherever you're watching this. I'm looking forward to this game. Croatia, Spain. It's a big game. Big game. A lot of people are hopping back on the Spaniard bandwagon. Even the Sharps, even the people who are setting the bets are jumping on Spain. The public's jumping on Spain again. Yeah, Spain looks good right now. They've won 2 games. They're a semifinal team in my eyes. Obviously, once you get to the semifinals, anything can happen. But I don't think Spain's going to win this tournament. And I think the Croatians are going to show up. And the fans are going to show up. They may fucking burn the fucking stadium down, these crazy fucking fans. They've been reading like rumors and all these crazy shit about they want to get their team kicked out of the fucking tournament and shit like that. Probably for political reasons and stuff like that. Once again, little small political factions and shit like that. Paying fucking people to go down and cause fucking shit, You know what happens. You know what goes down. The world's watching. The cameras are there. They can make a fucking stance. But with that being said, Croatia's got one of the best midfields in the tournament. Led by Rakitic and Modric, Kovacic, Pirsic. Mandzukic up front. If the guy stops bitching and complaining, he can actually put the ball in the back of the net. Their defense, scares the shit out of me. Sometimes led by Korluka. But, they're a mistake waiting to happen. With that being said, I'd lean to the over in this game. But I like Croatia to show up. I think the draw is heavily in play. A draw is, makes both teams happy. A draw allows Spain to win A draw allows Spain to win the group. A draw allows Croatia to come second place, just like probably both nations expected. And just like I expected, I got Croatia as a big dark horse here. I got them at plus 2,500. I've actually clicked on the future bet. Do I think they can win this tournament? Probably not. But as you're looking for some nice value, I thought the 2 biggest teams with value to win this tournament were the Azzurri, Italy at plus 1,800, and Croatia at plus 2,500. Outside, the big dogs. If you've been watching my podcast, I got Germany plus 400, England plus 850. And Croatia at plus 2,500 to win this thing. I got Italy to win their group. So I got Italy to win their group at plus 164. But anyways, I'm going to take Croatia to win or draw at minus 120. You got a 66% chance, in 90 minutes of football. I'll take it at minus 120. I think we can cash that bet easily. If you do want to, live a little more dangerously. I also have clicked on the draw on this game. So I've thrown a little bit on the draw. I've thrown a little bit on Croatia to win or draw. So we just got to avoid a Spain victory, and we can cash a wager here. And I think that's got a very good chance of happening. I do think this will be a 1-1 draw. Which brings us to a very intriguing game. The Czech Republic and Turkey. Now, I wasn't very high on Czech Republic coming into this tournament. I wasn't very high on Turkey either. Even though they got Fatim. Fatim's one of my favorite managers in the world. The Empire, the Emperor. That's his nickname. The Emperor! Fatim! Emperor Fatim, the manager for Turkey. He's one of my favorites. He's the guy that gave, the fourth official his cell phone. Check out the replay because it was offside in the England game and shit. But Turkey is exactly what I thought Turkey would be. They're going to fucking struggle. Struggle to score goals. Struggle to keep possession of the ball. That's just what Turkey is, Like, they haven't quite evolved, tactically into the new world of football. They don't quite have the talent there either. They do all right in qualifying, but they never do, you know, I think, back in 2008, they had a pretty good tournament. They had a younger squad. Now many of the same players, but getting older. Czech Republic, they got a young squad, but they rely on a lot of veterans. Slow, lethargic team. Peter Cech, not quite what Peter Cech used to be in between the pipes. Plassel, Rashitsky in the midfield, slow on transition. But that being said, I think we're going to see some goals in this game, man. This is one game I would like to click the over. The over's at plus 120 to over 2.5 goals. But I think Czech Republic show up. Czech Republic know if they win, they get at 4 points. They move on to the knockout phase. And Czech Republic have a habit of showing up in these games. I was there when they defeated Poland, at Euro 2012, when Poland needed the victory. They won 2-1. So Czech Republic do have a habit of showing up in these games. Not so much in knockout phases, but these games, yes. They never make it easy on themselves. So I think Czech Republic win 2-1. So I'm going to click on the Czech Republic to win this game. Don't quite have total confidence in the over, but I think we're going to see, because that Turkey's got nothing to play for, so I think they're going to show up and, throw all guns going forward. Same with Ukraine. That Ukraine-Poland game could be quite interesting. Which I'll finish this up. I'll save some NHL draft talk. The NHL draft kicks off Friday. I'll save that for tomorrow. I'll put a full podcast into that. I'm very excited. I'm laughing right now. I was sitting there, I'm a Montreal Canadiens fan. And I'll tease you guys with it. I'm a Montreal Canadiens fan, and I hate the Toronto Maple Leafs. I can't stand them. Can't stand them. It's the beauty thing about sports is you can love and hate, and not really hurt a lot of people because, you hate a sports team. So what? Hate the Leafs, but I've been, and every time I've talked to a Leafs fan and stuff like that, hey, I can't say too many bad things about them. What they've done in the last year and a half, they've done a lot of good things right. They shed a lot of money, and when people didn't think they could do that. Stockpile a lot of picks, a lot of things for the future. They got some prospects down there in the AHL. They got some reason to be excited in Leafland. Then they go and trade 2 draft picks for Frederik Andersen. Now, I understand goaltending's hard to come by. But you're amassing this young talent. And if there's one place on the team where you need a little bit of a cornerstone, it's on defense and it's in the net. And you don't have either of that right now, Toronto. And you didn't fucking upgrade it either by getting Frederik Andersen, who's been an up and down yo-yo for Anaheim for the last 2.5 years. And then you sign him to a 5-year deal. Now, you are going to get rid of Bernier, so you don't have to worry about him. He's gone. So I don't even want to waste time on that. But it makes me laugh. This is exactly what I was hoping for. You getting that trigger finger a little itchy. If I was going to trade my draft picks for a goaltender, I'm going with somebody that's a little bit more proven. I'm sniffing around Marc-Andre Fleury. I know Pittsburgh would probably like to get rid of his contract. Shit like that. I just don't trust Frederik Andersen. I don't trust John Gibson either there in Anaheim. And they're playing behind a much better team, a much better defense, a much more organized team defensively. So I don't think he's going to solve a lot of the Leafs' problems in net. He might create a little bit more question marks. So I'll elaborate more on that tomorrow. But the Toronto Raptors, they had a good year. Went to the Eastern Conference Finals, won 2 games against the eventual NBA Finals champions, Cleveland Cavaliers, who I haven't even talked about that, which I'll get to. I'll probably talk about LeBron James and some NHL tomorrow. Euros, I'm a big footy fan. So, the Raptors, they had a pretty damn good season. Had the city of Toronto on edge. And the Raptors didn't even play their best basketball in the playoffs, and they went to the conference finals and won 2 games. So, there's a lot to be positive about in the city of Toronto. Having the number 9 overall pick and the number 28 or 26 or something like that overall pick. Not too bad. Not too bad. Yeah, 27. So you got 9 and 27. So, a lot about drafts. There's basically a rotation of like 3 players, that are going to Toronto right now. I've seen Jakob Poeltl, the center from Utah, from Austria. I've seen Marquise Chris, the forward from Washington, who's interesting. And I've seen Henry Ellison, forward from Marquette, the guy I don't want. And if I'm a Raptors fan, I'm saying I don't want Henry Ellison. I do not want Henry Ellison from Marquette coming to fucking up north. Now, Jakob Poeltl, who I think is the more likely and obvious choice if the Raptors do make that selection at the number 9. I'll tell you what I want the Raptors to do with that number 9 pick soon. But we'll go over these guys. Jakob Poeltl, I watched a little Draft Express breakdown from him. It was pretty good. If anybody's looking for some information, the draftexpress.com was a pretty good website for some information on these kids. They got some pretty good videos up. They do a good job breaking it down. Let's see if I can...
In 1931, August Picard became the first man to reach the stratosphere. 3 decades.
Goddamn fucking ads. I gotta get my new... my ad blocker's acting up and stuff like that. So I gotta get back and update that and shit like that. So I'll get on that. There's a nice little video. They got a bunch of stats. I'll see if I can break some stuff down. Basically, what I see from Jakob Poeltl, he's not your average... Everybody's thinking, he's from Austria. He's not your average European basketball player. He played for Utah. He's played in the NCAA. $17.3 points per game last year. 9.1 rebounds. So the kid can score. He's got a pretty good set of hands on him. He's not afraid to take the ball to the rack. Not afraid to, take the ball out, 18 feet out from the rim. Pump fake, drive to the hoop. He's not afraid to get into the paint, which is nice to see for a big guy. He's got a good set of hands on him. He's a good passer. He's an NBA-ready body. He's going to take a little, about a half a year to probably develop a little bit, get used to the physicality of the game. Probably play in the D-League for about a half a year. But the Raptors may lose Biyombo, and this is a natural person to come in and replace him. A natural replacement. It was not too much of an experiment, like Marquise Chris would be. So he's an interesting selection. He's not the guy I'm hoping for, but he's the guy in reality that's most likely to happen. Now, Marquise Chris, he's going anywhere between 4 and 9 right now, so we'll see what happens. I don't think he's going to fall to 9. I think someone will take a chance on the power forward from Washington. He averaged 13.8 points per game last year for Washington. 5.4 rebounds per game. Washington plays in the Pac-12, pretty good basketball division. Washington was an explosive NCAA basketball team last year. Lots of overs. It was a lot of fun watching watching Washington play last year. Lots of fun, man. Lots of fun. And he's a guy, like, I'd take Marquise Chris over Podol. You know, I think in the long run, he's got more upside. But it all depends on who the Raptors think they can attract. Because the Raptors are in win now mode. So Marquise Chris doesn't help them win now. Might help them win in 2 years. But it doesn't help them win now. And a guy like Jacob Podol, I think, helps them win now. So I would be leaning more towards him, even though I do like Marquise Chris. Like, it's just the situation the Raptors are in. I guess a lot has to do with DeMar DeRozan as well. I don't even want to talk about Henry Ellison too much. He's a power forward from Marquette, 7 feet tall power forward, 19 points per game, 9.9 rebounds. I'm just not very high on this guy. Slow, conservative. I don't see him being a threat in the paint too much. I see him being more of a defensive rebound guy. A poor man Steven Adams, basically. A poor man Steven Adams. And look how long it took Steven Adams to make a proper impact on his team. So let's just avoid Henry Ellison altogether. And the guy that I want the Toronto Raptors to draft, the guy I would like to see playing in Toronto, is Jaylen Brown from Cal. Now, do I think Jaylen Brown can fall to number 9? I don't think so. Not if teams are smart. This guy is exactly what Toronto needs to help solve the small forward, power forward position. He can play a little small ball. He's a pretty good defender. He's a natural small forward, a natural wingman. He's got the body to play the wing. He's got a pretty good outside shot. He's not afraid to slash to the rim and take the ball to the rim. He's explosive. He's a dunker. He's not afraid to posterize a guy. He's got a little bit of attitude playing down in Cal. I watched Cal play a lot this year. I watch a lot of NCAA basketball. Cal, typically soft, historically soft. Jaylen Brown brought some attitude. He's a pretty good defender as well. He's got a nice little wingspan on him. He's got everything you want from a young small forward. I know they got that Powell. But Powell's a little bit over, a little over his head. And I think he'll be he'll be a useful NBA player, Powell. But I think Brown will be a lot more impactful, a lot more explosive. And he'll be able to impact the Raptors pretty quick. He would definitely, you'll definitely see him on the court next year. I think the guy's got the skills. So this is the guy that I'd be hoping for if I'm Raptors fans, is Jaylen Brown. But ultimately, if I was a Raptors fan, what I would be hoping for is the Raptors to move the number 9 pick. Because the Raptors, let's be real here, the city of Toronto, and they like to think that they're all fucking good and shit like that, and Toronto's one of the best cities in the fucking world. Yeah, you're one of the best cities in the world, but you fucking shut down 85% of your transit at fucking 1 a.m. Yeah. Come on, Toronto. It's fucking 2016. You shut down most of your public transit at 1 a.m. Come on. But in reality, for the Raptors, they have trouble attracting free agents. DeMarre Carroll was their big free agent splash last year. Yeah, good on Toronto. DeMarre Carroll, you can go in your starting 5. He's useful. You can use him for many things. He had an injury-plagued season last year, and I like DeMarre Carroll. He's my type of player. I'd want him on my team. But you need to attract somebody better than DeMarre Carroll if you want to win the NBA championship, Toronto. And that's not going to happen. As you can see, I got a fucking crazy hairdo going on today. That's not going to happen, Toronto. So I think by moving the number 9 pick might be the best way to get somebody in there that can help you win now, Toronto. Especially if you keep DeRozan. Especially if there's a way you can, keep Biyombo. Even though I don't think that's going to happen. But if you got DeRozan locked up long term, you want to win now, I think moving the number 9 pick for starting a power forward, for that starting small forward, is a very real possibility. Now, he won't be a big, sexy name like Kevin Durant, like all these Toronto fans are talking about. And let's be real, Kevin Durant will not be suiting up for the Toronto Raptors next year. Kevin Durant's not even going home to Washington. So by moving the number 9 pick, I think it's the best way for Toronto to get an impactful, very impactful player in that can, maybe rotate with Damari Carroll in the small forward position, or maybe you can find that starting power forward. Because Luis Scola, he doesn't have too many miles left in his legs, and you need that starting power forward, Toronto. You need that body down there that can either go small and use them at the starting center spot when you need to, or you need someone that can play and bang down there with JV. And give JV a rest. Because JV's still growing. He's still young. So Jaylen Brown, or move the number 9 pick, Toronto. We'll see what kind of magic Masai Ujiri comes up with. Just going to run through my baseball picks real quick here for all you degenerate gamblers out there. So, before I get to that, I'll just recap those Euro 2012 picks. Germany minus 1.5. Czech Republic plus 130. Well, we'll go in order here. We'll go in order. Germany minus 1.5 over Northern Ireland. Poland minus 105 over Ukraine. I like Croatia to show up against Spain. I like Croatia and the draw at minus 120. I also like Croatia to draw at plus 200. And finally, I like the Czech Republic to sneak into the round of 16, defeat Turkey 2-1. I really like the over in that game. On the diamond, we got a full board of games on the diamond here. I'll probably tweet out a couple games later on. But right off the hop, one that sticks out to me, we got the Chicago White Sox on the road in Boston. Clay Buchholz is on the mound for the Boston Red Sox. Fuck, Clay Buchholz has sucked for like the last 3 years. He's even awful. He's even, I didn't think he can be worse as a fucking relief pitcher, but he is. Now, the Chicago White Sox have Chris Sale on the mound. I think Chris Sale's going to win the Cy Young Award in the AL. Now, you're getting Chris Sale at plus money at plus 100. How can you not take the Chicago White Sox, even though they're a shitty road team? So I'll take the Chicago White Sox at plus 100. You got the Detroit Tigers with Justin Verlander on the mound taking on Seattle Mariners with James Paxton. I like the Detroit Tigers at minus 135. They're pretty hot right now. They're rolling. Cabrera's hitting the ball. The cover off the ball. That was a moonshot last night. Verlander, obviously I'd be distracted too if I was fucking dating Kate Upton for the first fucking year and a half, 2 years. Yeah. Now it's probably become more of the norm for him to come home and see that beautiful girl sitting there. He's got his mind back on baseball. He's playing pretty well. Pitching pretty well. Yeah, I've never been, Justin Verlander games never work out well for me when I wager on them, but I'm going to take the Tigers at minus 135. And finally, we got the Houston Astros hosting the LA Angels. McHugh's on the mound for the Astros. Santiago's on the mound for the Angels. Santiago's been hit and miss all year. An absolute gas can. 10 of his 13 appearances haven't been too good. I'd say 8 out of those 13 appearances have been awful. As it stands right now, the Astros are minus 165 on the money line. Total in this game is 8.5 runs. I like the over 8.5 runs. And the Angels-Astros game. Now, I know this podcast's getting a little tight for these games to get out. For the Euros, I'm going to tweet out my 12 o'clock picks as soon as I get this done. Get amped up for the Euros. I really need Northern Ireland to get smoked. I really hope that I'm kind of wrong with the 2-0 German victory in the under. I really do hope Germany wins by 4 or 5 goals. I don't think it's going to happen, though. Germany by 2. Mainly because I got Northern Ireland in a parlay to not qualify for the knockout stages. I did not think the Northern Irish would show up and steal 3 points. I thought they'd be able to get a draw. For sure. But I thought, I didn't see them beating Ukraine 2-0. Didn't see that at all. But that's the beauty of the Euros. I'll be back tomorrow with a little NHL draft, little LeBron James, Cleveland Cavaliers talk, get my thoughts. I'm fucking glad I haven't had to hear about Steph Curry's wife for the last few days. That was starting to get fucking annoying. But remember, if you're not laying the money on the table, you're not winning.